Coach, where did you get your offensive philosophy? Like just playing fast, shooting a lot of threes, getting to the rim. What was it, a Romulus thing? Was it a Wisconsin Whitewater deal, or was it just you like the way that people
wasn't a Wisconsin
played like that?
deal,
or
everybody in Wisconsin ran blocker mover until Bo came, and then they all ran swing. So like
the swing,
So it was more Whitewater got up and down a little bit, but when I got to Romulus, so the first year I coached at Romulus, I had one Division I kid, Ryan Coleman. He played at Michigan. He was a junior that year. We got beat. We lost to Belleville, like the big arch rival. And I think the score in the district championship, or we lost in districts to them, I think we lost like 48-33 or 48-35. Like we didn't score over 35 points. That's disastrous. Like nobody wants to coach basketball like that unless there's a few teams in the Big Ten, I think, that would be happy.
Unless you're
with
Bo Ryan. Bo Ryan might like that.
So they scored it pretty well his last few years there. But so we had athletes though, like they had like football Division I players. So we just like I had it like so in Michigan the rules were not limiting you to the amount of time in the gym. It just limited you to the number of guys. You worked 4 guys out at a time all year long. So 6 a.m. we got guys in after school. We came back up at night sometime. We just were in the gym like. Too much, probably. I'm lucky I'm still married. But like, so my thing was we're going to take athletes, get them really skilled, and then we're not going to turn them into robots when we go out and play. Like if we're going to spend all this time in the gym, like let them have some freedom and play. So we opened the floor up. We were playing. I hadn't quite figured it out. Calipari actually was, when they had Derrick Rose at Memphis, I liked how they let D Rose go a little bit. So I did a little research on that. Got a hold of, the guy that kind of introduced him to the whole dribble drive thing, Vance Wahlberg. So I called Vance. Vance sent me out like 6 games from Fresno City College. They're putting up like 180. It was ridiculous.
Everybody was trying to follow them. Like everybody was calling Vance.
Yeah, like 15 years ago, whatever. So I had gotten a hold of Vance when he was at Fresno City before he went to Pepperdine. So me and Josh Baker, my assistant at Romulus, we used to go to an NBA training camp and a college practice for like an extended period of time every fall, or at least one or the other. We try to hit both, but we at least, if we couldn't make it to an NBA win. So that year we flew out, stayed with Dana Pump. I don't know if you should have Pump on a podcast once and tell all old stories from when they had it.
We will. That's a good idea. It's a good summer. That's a good summer pod.
Yeah. So we went and stayed with Dana for a whole week. The first week, that was back when practice started October 15th. So the whole first week, Vance was at Pepperdine. We were there the whole week, and he was great. We sat down with him at the end of the week, answered every question we had. We came back to Romulus, put the whole system in, pressing, trapping, offense, dribble drive, 4 out, 1 in with the guy in the dunkers, everything. And then we were 8-8, just worst record we had since I'd been at Romulus through the first 16 games. We quit with the pressing, like because we were playing like Noopy, Crater, like all these high major point guards. We had a really good schedule, like. We played probably a half dozen like high major point guards, which is to me, it's just stupid to open the floor up and press really good guards. It's the last time I've pressed. We quit pressing. I think our record since we quit pressing there, you'd have to ask Baker. I think we figured it out though. It was like 92 or 93% winning percentage at Romulus. We kept the offense and kind of ditched the defense and just went back to playing sound in the gap, half court man, and really. Kind of been the whole philosophy ever since. And we've been tweaking stuff here and there on everything, but yeah. So that's a long answer to a short question. Sorry.
So you were the head coach of Romulus 8 years ago. Think about that, Nate, right? 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? So
what was your paycheck? What were you making that year?
I think so. That was the deal where you get paid to teach. And then I took on the cross country coaching job for an extra $2,500. I taught summer school for an extra $2,000. I think when you pool it all together, I was somewhere in the mid 70s, like
that's pretty good.
72, 75,000. So I thought I was going to have to take a pay cut to get into college if I ever got, cause I was like, I had interviewed at a couple different, I'd had a coach in the MAC promised me a job. He took one of my kids, like next job open is yours. And then he reneged on it. Like, and then I got to coach against him and beat him a few times. And then I had another, guy I interviewed with another guy so all these guys I'd interviewed for and they didn't give me the job or I decided I didn't want it, like then I was coaching against them. So that was a little interesting, but I I thought I'd have to get in as like a third assistant in the MAC making
25 grand.
Yeah, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I was prepared to do that if it was the right situation, but I wasn't doing it for a guy that I didn't think was going to win at a high level. So even when I interviewed with Hurley, I never thought I was going to come on as his lead assistant. I was like, just get me in the door. But I was convinced Hurley was going to be good. So that one, like, I was all in. Like, I wanted to go with him. Some of the other ones I was, but I then when you said, hey, I want to bring you on as my top assistant up, I was like, oh, okay, all right,
I'm
cool.
in.
Yeah, we're in. Let's do it. I actually got a pay raise to go. I think I started at like 90 or something like that. So like I was like, shoot, this is great.
When Nate was an assistant at Buffalo, I went for the NCAA tournament and did a story, ESPN story, and we drank. What was it? Was the Red Bull?
It was because Bobby Hurley would drink like
right.
Bobby was. I mean, look, Bobby's got plenty of energy without drinking a Red Bull. Like so, if for the games, he would drink how many? I think
he said it was
three?
One before and one at halftime. I think.
How is
I
it like
agree.
jittery? Like I
had one. I've had one in my life. I can't. I like my hands were like going like this on the steering wheel.
I can't believe that.
He drank,
I always thought it was fascinating seeing players drinking Red Bull before games. And certainly like there's ways that I think they try to get their athletes to do it where they cut it with water and whatnot. But like I played with a guy, Nikola Pekovic. He was housing. I mean, Peck was one of the strongest dudes in the NBA anyway. And he's housing Red Bulls before the game, and I just was always amazed.
Go out there like a caged animal.
I mean, he was that anyway. Dwight Howard wanted no part of Peck, and then he'd Red Bull up, and he'd go out there, and he'd be the Incredible Hulk out there.
I think Bobby didn't feel like he had enough energy, like on the sideline, so
he doesn't do it anymore. So no more Red Bull. I asked him this year; he's done with Red Bull.
His wife was on him like that's too much. Like Leslie's great. She's trying to keep him healthy. I mean, he runs all the time. Like we get on a treadmill, like he can run. Like he would go for 20 minutes. That was the deal. I would go run next to him, see how far he could get in 20 minutes. He was pushing dang near 3 miles. I'm lucky to get 2 point something. Like, but so he's in great shape. But she wasn't happy with the Red Bulls. I knew. So maybe she got him to eventually. I don't know what. Maybe he takes a 5-hour energy. Who knows?
So you worked for Bobby for 2 years, correct? 2 years?
Two,
as an assistant? That's not even like dog years. Like what is the equivalent to working for Bobby?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm not just saying this in case Bobby listens to it. I'm you already know.
Because you're gonna get a phone call.
Yeah, I'm too honest. You already know. We don't have to go into this stuff I've already said throughout my career already. He's not hard to work for. The only time it gets hard to work is when you start to lose. Okay. So like, he's actually like super cool, laid back, chilled. Now, if you lose a couple recruits in a row or you lose a couple games in a row, now it might get a little tense. Like you'd guess by watching him on the sideline, but I'm telling you, like I've heard horror stories from lots of my friends in the business about working for bad head coaches. He's the opposite of that. He's not that.
Bobby's just a Hurley. We interviewed. We had Danny on last week, and a Hurley is just a different species. That's how I describe it.
I'll tell you this. Like I found out why. I mean, he's no taller than I am. Like 6'1".
Yep.
He's a better athlete than what people would have thought, but he's not like some freak athlete. He was the 7th pick in the NBA draft. I figured out how that happened. Like he's just like the ultimate competitor. Like he'll lose his mind. Like there's stories from practice when stuff's not going well, but it wasn't like he's taking it out on me or the assistants. So now, actually, I got a funny story. He did one. This was great. So the team, you know the Hurleys, right? So the team's not playing well at Buffalo. We're bad. So the coaches have to suffer because we're losing. So there's got to be. So he said, if we got to suffer in the game, we're going to start suffering. He started making the coaches run sprints like when the players were screwing up in practice one game. I swear to you, true story. You can ask Ben Woods with him now. Ben was there. Levi Watkins at at Ole Miss was there, and I think Eric Carriel, but it was me, Eric, Levi, and then Bobby were the four assistants. So like I was winning all those sprints, though. I swear, at Jeff, I won those sprints. We were
Sure you did. Sure.
So wait, like clarify this. Kid turns it over in practice. He says, "Nate, get your ass
the
on
whole
the
staff.
line."
No, it wasn't like Nate. It was we. He was with us. Bobby was running with
everybody runs.
The whole staff. Yeah, the whole staff.
I was going to say, I can see some of these players being like, "Hey, let's start really turning it over and torture the coaches." They're running.
Come on, Rob. Rob, you wouldn't have done that if you knew Painter had to run.
if he was putting Paul Lusk on the line when I was mad at Coach Lusk,
you would have been turning it over, bouncing it off your foot, seriously. Whatever.
Yeah,
well, we had to. We had call Levi, ask him. It only happened once, but he's like, if we're going to suffer, we're going to start suffering in practice. So he told, all right, coaches, get on the line. Yeah, I forget what it was over. Like maybe rebounding, turnover. I don't know what it was, but I just remember I had to run sprints in practice. I'm like, man, I gotta get back in shape. But I wasn't going to lose one though. I was like, I look like I'm in decent shape because I'm not too fat or whatever. But that doesn't mean you're in good shape. Like
you're used to running. It's a different animal when that wins.
Yeah.